Yo, what's happening everybody, King GBL here, and welcome back to some Go Battle League. Today I'm going to showcase what I think is the best team in Summer Cup. This team got me my ELO today, and it got me one of my highest ever ELO reveals, so stay tuned to the end of the video if you want to see what that was. For anybody who's looking for a consistent and reliable team for the Summer Cup, I highly recommend checking out these matchups, because to be honest with you guys, I don't think you can really go too far wrong with this team. You can run this team in any order. The reason I'm running it in this particular order is because our back two Pokemon are pretty decent into electric types, and of course we're very weak to that. We're weak to Mud Boys in the lead, so I want to run this like an ABB team to electric and Mud Boys. I got a decent amount of electric and Mud Boy leads, and you're going to see that those leads are not too bad for this team whatsoever. Toxapex being so bulky can pretty much pull shields off anything. In these types of metas, you play around Vigoroth. Basically, almost every team's got a Vigoroth on it. In this cup, there's nothing that particularly hard walls Vigoroth. We don't have Palossand, we don't have Golurk or any of those types of Pokemon, which typically wall all of Vigoroth's moveset. So even into ghosts like Trevenant, Decidueye as you can see on screen here, and even into some of its hardest counters in the meta, which would be things like Poliwrath, Vigoroth is very strong in this cup. I was basically finding that I was getting shield advantage or switch advantage on the lead most of the time, and if you have switch advantage or shield advantage with Vigoroth and Trevenant, you can pretty much sweep most teams. Let's hop into the battles. If you enjoyed today's video, drop a like, subscribe, it helps out a bunch, and I'd very much appreciate it. Let me know in the comments down below, are you playing this cup or Ultra League this week? And if you have any questions about the team, feel free to ask me in the comment section down below. So hopping into this first match here, we have the Toxapex versus Vigoroth, an extremely dominant match. In that matchup, you go Strip Brine. It's a very dominant matchup. Now, Toxapex into Mantine is also a very dominant matchup. As you can see, we can tank several aerial aces, and we can go straight Sludge Wave. Once we land one, we can basically shield once, farm all the way down. In my experience, you can always farm it the whole way down after landing that move, and bang, we can actually come out of here and threaten a Sludge Wave on the Vigoroth if it comes back. As you can see, we're super thick, we're resisting the counters, and even at this point, I could swap out, or I could let them take me out here. This is perfectly fine. We've got the Vigoroth super low, we come into our own Vigoroth here. I let the first move go. If they get to a second move, I may look to catch it on Trevenant here. The opponent swaps out into a Quagsire, we swap into Trevenant, and that's going to be game over. I have found a lot of teams with Mud Boys in the back. The core of Toxapex and Trevenant cover each other's weaknesses very well. Some of the core breakers for this team might be something like an Emolga. However, the thing with Emolga is, versus Trevenant, you can pretty much Shadow Claw through it. It's a very glassy Pokemon. It's quite slow to the acrobatics, and even if you land Seed Bombs, they do a decent amount of damage. If you somehow get Pidgeot lined up onto your Trevenant in the back, well of course it's game over, but you can't always guarantee perfect alignment in this game. No matter what team you're using, you're going to get RPS at times. Good games there. The opponent didn't have a great answer to the Toxapex except for the Quagsire, which unfortunately for them, they couldn't bring straight in. And hopping into the next match here, Poliwrath, amazing lead, and the opponent comes into their Charjabug. Now with Charjabug, I think you have to chip this before you leave. If you do not chip this, it gets very awkward. Whenever Charjabug gets up energy versus your back Pokemon, they can flip swap. So if the opponent shields, come into Trevenant. If the opponent lets the chip go, come into the Vigoroth. You come into Trevenant, go straight Shadow Ball. The opponent overfarmed and allowed me to get to this move, which is perfect, meaning that the opponent would have to go down 2 shields. They come into Typhlosion, farm me the whole way down. Typhlosion is surprisingly quite a core breaker at times as well. 2 Thunder Punches from Typhlosion gets Toxapex really low. I decided to bring in Vigoroth here, because of course, Toxapex is my hard answer to this, but I really need to keep it for the Poly. The opponent aggro swaps into Poly, I store the energy, and come back into Toxapex. In this matchup here, not messing around whatsoever, I'm going to go straight for the Sludge Wave, and basically look to try to get rid of them. I don't want to take any unnecessary damage. I want to threaten the Typhlosion as much as possible, and I know that these moves are not going to knock out. So the opponent can throw as many Icy Winds, as many Skulls, Dynamic Punches, Pops. They can throw whatever they want here. I'm going to go for a Brine, and I'm going to undercharge it because I can basically get a small farm down here and try to burn the rest of my Switch Clock. That's pretty much what I was trying to do here. I don't want to allow them to get an energy lead. Now, I end up CMPing here on a Body Slam. All you have to do, shield the Blast Burn. The opponent made a bit of a mistake. They had to go for a Thunder Punch in that situation. They let this move go. I think realizing they kind of messed up a little bit, but I would have been able to 2 and 4 the move. So good games there. Once again, you're seeing that the opponent does not have a great answer to Toxapex on the team. In this next battle here, we have what's most likely a mirror team. Now there's a couple of ways to play this out. We're both over farming, we both think that we lose CMP. The opponent ends up winning CMP, so that's kind of annoying, but we should be able to juggle around this a little bit, because most likely it's going to be Vigoroth and Trevenant in the back. This team is really common, last time Summer Cup was here, so we're going to play under the assumption that the opponent's running the exact same team as us. They go for Sludge Wave, you go straight Sludge Wave in this matchup, you do not go for Brine. If you go for Brine, you lose the matchup. So yeah, as you can see, we get them into the red first. So I'm thinking here, I'm going to go for this little chip here. The opponent will full send the move, because they went CMP, right? And I can just get a little bit of an energy lead. I'm thinking here, if I can get a Shadow Claw or a counter through, the opponent aggro swaps into the Crocodile here, and we go straight for the Rock Slide. So this team is completely different, but if you're in a situation where you lose CMP, honestly, just commit to the Sludge Wave, and pretty much farm it down with Trevenant, I think is the best way to go. The opponent goes for Disarming Voice, I get a bait through, and we're going to look to, I think, try to tank one here. Disarming Voice coming in, we go for a 1 and fro. I don't 2 and fro, because I would die to the next Incinerate. The opponent actually lives the move. We can farm it the whole way down with Trevenant, and we're going to see what's in the back. It is a Talonflame right here. My only option is to go for a bait at this point. We 7 and fro for good timing, go for the Seed Bomb. Now, can we make this in time? Can we make it? We need to get there in 4. The opponent goes for the catch. I'm going to go straight for the Shadow Ball. We were going to make the move, and that's good games. Nice catch attempt by the opponent. However, I was committing to good timing, so the opponent had a very tricky backline for me. But if you've got an energy lead with Trev, you can actually beat Talonflame in the wands. So good games there, and hopping into the next one, we have another very dominant lead with Mantine. You would think this is very neutral, but like, Toxapex does not give a shit about this thing, bro. It really does not. Look at these aerial aces coming in. They're tickling the Toxapex. They're absolutely tickling my Toxapex. I'm going to overfarm, not CMPing the opponent. By CMPing the opponent, you're basically denying yourself a fast move. I just want to get all the fast moves I can. I'm not going to CMP, because it might make the difference. They might be able to farm me down before I'm able to farm them down, or they might be able to make an ace because I don't get the extra fast move. I'm not letting that happen. I don't have to shield anything. I'm just going to go straight Sludge Wave, no messing about, bang. And at this point, I can shield, I can take alignment, and I can get off a Sludge Wave and whatever comes in. I could take like a Trevenant farm down or whatever, but I can just take a juicy farm here. The opponent comes into a Mud Boy, I swap out and bank a Scald. Or sorry, I keep calling it a Scald, it's a Brine. I wish it was a actually, I wish it wasn't. If this Pokemon ever gets a good water move, it's Curtains, bro. But anyway, here comes this thing. I'm going to no-shield the first move. If they go for Stone Edge, it's a mistake, because they need to throw 2 moves no matter what. I CMP them on the Aqua Tail. This is perfect for me. I'm really happy to let this go at this point. They've already shown me a flyer, and it's actually their own Vigoroth. They counter me the whole way down, but that counter damage is not insignificant. We can come into our own Trevenant. I'm going to shield up the first move, because they normally go for Rock Slide. I think they... oh no, they actually do go for it. Later on in the video, you will see that somebody baited me in that situation. I still won that match, so that's perfectly fine. Just shield the move, it doesn't matter. Shield or no shields, do whatever you like. The only problem is, if you no shield or Rock Slide, they'll probably just go straight Body Slam thereafter. So that's why I kind of like shielding the first one. Anyway, I see Bum coming in. We have a move stored in Toxapex, bang. I always like storing that move if possible. If the opponent has a hard answer to Trev in the lead, and you take care of it, I'm happy to swap out at that point. But if it's like a pretty neutralish lead to Trevenant in the lead, or something that's weak to Trev in the lead, you probably don't make that aggro swap. Anyway, the opponent comes into their own Trev. I catch a Shadow Ball here on the Vigoroth. The opponent is absolutely furious. They're absolutely furious. Look at them. The opponent is tapping the screen extra hard now. The opponent makes it to a Seed Bomb. Buffed Seed Bomb really helps this matchup for Trevenant, by the way. It gets them a lot lower. As you can see, I've got a very high rank Vigoroth. I'm going to overfarm the maximum amount, go for Rock Slide, and I'm pretty happy with this. I can just shield once, get off another Rock Slide if I want to. The opponent actually allows me to get to this, so I'm really happy with this at this point. I can, you know, of course, just let this go down. They can farm me the whole way down if they want to. And I can come in with my own Trevenant, basically double shield and farm it the whole way down. Come out with just an absolute ton of energy. There's not really a whole lot of Pokemon that wall this completely. I did see one Lickitung earlier. I don't expect Lickitung to be super common in this comp. And in comes a Marowak. We're going to look to absolutely nuke it, or so I thought. In comes Poliwrath. Very nice catch by the opponent, and that's why you do not throw on alignment like an absolute potato. I go for a catch here on my Toxapex. This thing is just so healthy, bro. This game is just absolutely over. We can basically farm the whole way down. We do not care about Poliwrath whatsoever. We're still in the green. We're in the deep green. We're gonna go ahead and go for Brine number 1 and for Brine number 2, and that's gonna be Curtains for them. GG's to the opponent. The opponent made a good play, but unfortunately for them, like, Toxapex was just too much to handle. And that's why this Pokemon is just easy mode in this cup. If you guys are looking to gain Elo, just use this team. It's just very, very strong. I think this will be a very common and popular team, so you might look to start countering this team eventually. Look at what the core breakers are for this team and start countering it. But I think for day 1, day 2, or even, you know, revisit this team next week when everybody stopped using it, this team is super strong and I highly recommend it. Now in this matchup here, we had a very negative lead. Ferrothorn is horrible for Vigoroth, or sorry, horrible for Toxapex. So we swap out. If you get an energy lead, it's manageable, but in a straight up match, it's horrible. Thankfully, we can take swap. We managed to make it to 3 rock slides. Oh, I don't make swap. That doesn't knock them out. Super unfortunate. The opponent will take me out here. I'm thinking like, okay, if it's another fire in the back, what I basically need to do, get a Shadow Claw lead, and that means that basically, whenever they come in with their fire, I can 6 and throw the Shadow Ball. Unfortunately, Typhlosion is on this moveset now, of Thunder Punch. They get to these moves really quick. The opponent comes into the Ferrothorn. That's a huge mistake by them, because I could have just taken out the Typhlosion. They could have probably like farmed me down with Ferrothorn, and Ferrothorn is just so good into the Toxapex. I'm really happy now, because I can just basically farm this the whole way down. I can easily take 2 Thunders on this. I can farm this the whole way down. I can take a Thunder and a Power Whip, or 2 Thunders, and basically look to brine the Typhlosion. So, opponent definitely made a mistake. They should have just sacked the Typhlosion there and then. I go for 2 and fro. I was tempted to throw a Sludge Wave here. I decided not to BM the opponent. Go for the super effective move, and that's good games. So definitely a little bit fortunate there. The opponent swapping out gave me a huge advantage. I was able to get the alignment I wanted. I put the Shadow Ball exactly where I wanted to put it, right? Because taking out Ferrothorn with Sludge Wave is extremely difficult. So I would have been in such a tricky spot. In this next match again, once again we're trying to avoid CMP tie with the Mantine. We're going to look to land a move. The opponent actually lets that move go. Usually the Mantine shields, this time they let it through. So we're going to see how this plays out. I'm assuming very similarly, where we can take just a bunch of aces and farm it down. We're going to see how this plays out basically. I think, okay, the opponent swaps out, comes into Vigoroth. Right here you could go for a Brine Chip and go into your own Vigoroth. The opponent ends up shielding the move. And once you get a shield off Vigoroth, it is safe to go into your own. Whenever you're going into Vigoroth versus opposing Vigoroths, you either need to chip them first or get a shield advantage first. That means you can shield up the first move if you get the shield advantage, or you can just let the moves go if you don't. Right here, I can basically commit to the farm down, get off a move on whatever comes in, and we're in a pretty decent position. Cups like this can be pretty RPS. They come back into the Mantine, and because they have Mantine in the lead, I'm expecting to see a Mudboy. They actually shield that move, which is really surprising. I come into Toxapex here, force the energy, and I'm very happy with this. Trevenant up a shield. As long as it's not like ABI Flyer, we should be fine. It's actually a Mudboy, so this is absolute curtains for the opponent. The opponent's staying in to throw a move for some reason, but I think we all know this is game over here. So those are some really key things to remember in Vigoroth metas. If the opponent comes into their own Vigoroth, you stay in, you chip it, and then you come into your own Vigoroth. That's what you absolutely have to do. There's no question about it. Unless you're happy to give up swap, that's basically what you have to do every time. So that's fine. We win that match at Toxapex into Vigoroth. This is extremely dominant. I want you guys to watch this matchup. The opponent plays it out here. This is insanely dominant for Toxapex. The opponent's overfarming, trying to CMP on the Sludge Wave, and because they've built up to 2, I'm thinking they go for the next one immediately. Looks like they're building up to another 2, so I throw my Brine. Don't have to throw the big move. All I need to do is land a Brine, and this is perfect. They go for another CMP. The opponent is perfectly counting my moves, so I'm going to get this move off right away, bang. Or actually I don't get it off. I know the opponent's trying to CMP me, right? So the opponent gets off 3 body slams here. I'm still alive. I can build up to 2 Brines basically. And like, believe it or not, the opponent's not going to be able to counter me down. I get off another Brine and take them out. So on the lead, the opponent gives up 2 shields, and they do not take switch against Toxapex. It's an insanely dominant matchup. So right here, I've got a lot of great choices here. I've seen the Vigoroth on the lead. I don't know what could be in the back. This could be anything at this point. I come into Vigoroth here. They come into Poliwrath. I mistakenly throw the move. I just kind of panicked and throw the move. But I come into Trevenant. The opponent will see the writing on the wall. I would have needed 2 moves to kill this thing anyway. So the way that I cope with this is, I guess that actually was the correct play. But I didn't think it was the correct play at the time. Because yeah, Poly, I had an energy, will outpace to the Icy Wind. They comfortably live the Seed Bomb, and you have to throw a second one. So actually you do have to chip it, that's kind of funny. So once again in the next match guys, we have the Toxapex versus Toxapex. Extremely fun and exciting matchup here, which you are going to be forced to play out. So again, if you win CMP, just take it out. If you lose CMP, just farm it down with something. It's not really a big problem, because again, it normally is a mirror team in the back. The first time it wasn't. This time, I think it actually might be this time. I think the opponent here is going straight Brine. Oh no, sorry, they're going Sludge Wave. Sorry, I was thinking of something else. We're gonna go for this move. We win CMP. This is perfect. Now, what I sometimes like to do is save the Toxapex. In comes Charjabug. Yeah, so as soon as I seen that Charjabug, I'm straight out of there. Because I'm thinking, like, we have not seen a Vigoroth yet, and saving a Toxapex with that amount of HP can be very, very valuable. Both of our Pokemon do pretty fine-ish into this, and the opponent will look to try to, of course, chip me or take me out first before swapping into their own Vigoroth, if that's what they have. So that's perfectly fine here. I'm going to play this out a little bit. I play this on good timing here. I'm happy enough to maybe even shield a move here. They actually let the move go and come into their own Vigoroth finally. So yeah, this is basically game over. The Toxapex will still force them to throw later on. We come into Trevenant, we're in the 1 shield. I go for the move right away. It might be this opponent that goes for the bait, but as you're about to see, it doesn't really make a huge difference. The opponent immediately shields the move, and they go for body slam. That's perfectly fine. They have to go for two rock slides. As long as your Trevenant is not absolute arse, like mine was quite recently, they will have to go for 2 of these. You might lose out in like bulk points or something to counter. I'm pretty sure that is a thing with Trevenant. So a higher ranked Trevenant the better. Like right here, I'm not too sure if a body slam will be quite enough. Let's have a look here. They go rock slide, so yeah, I don't think it would have been quite enough. And as you guys can see, we still have Toxapex alive. This is absolutely perfect. The opponent's forced to throw, so we go for the catch. And yeah, that's basically game over. If the opponent predicted the catch, they would still get countered down, so keeping that low health Toxapex was perfect. And as you can see, I started off in 2276. Now this is my final set, and I have a very, very strong set here to actually get my my ranking. So Charge Bug lead, you would think, oh no, this is horrible. Not really, it really is not that bad. Discharge, wow, that hurts so much. I'm still in the yellow. We're going to go for Big Sludge Wave. If you land this, you can basically shield farm it down. They know that, so they shield it. I come into Vigoroth. What I'm going to do is shield the chip, because this is the Vigoroth Cup. You shield the chips, which means that if they come into their own Vigoroth, you're heading energy. They come into Mantine. I'm going to go straight Rock Slide here. A good Mantine can eat a Rock Slide and a Body Slam, so if you're playing it out for a while, or if you're playing it in like the 1s or 0s, you have to go double Rock Slide. If it gets a little bit low later on, if you're playing the 2s or something, you probably can go for a Body Slam. Right here, I know this opponent. I know that they live a Body Slam, so I go for the Rock Slide. I thought that they would think that they would live a Body Slam, so that's why I went for the Rock Slide. Whenever you're playing against really great players, you have to try to think like that. They will try to live moves on 1 HP and get the move off, instead of just shielding everything. They come into Lantern, and because they were watching my stream earlier, they knew that I had Trevenant in the back, so good games to them. Into the next battle here, we have a Quagsire Safe Swap. This is really interesting. You need to pay attention here. Stop what you're doing. Stop looking at your phone. Look at this matchup. I shielded the first Stone Edge. Here's why. Have a look. The opponent's gonna let this go, right? Nope. They know that if they land the move, they can actually take swap on your Trevenant, so do not allow that to happen. Take the second move, that's no problem, because if you correctly shield one of the Stone Edges, you win that matchup basically. But if they land the Stone Edge, it's free till the next Aqua Tail and then 4 to the Aqua Tail after that. So they basically just outspam you and take switch on the Trevenant. So if you ever get the situation where you're meeting a Quagsire Safe Swap, shield the Stone Edge, it's not worth risking it. In comes Mantine, they get 2 wing attacks through, back in comes Toxapex, and I think the opponent makes an amazing catch here. Once again, I know that these opponents are good. They're going to try to play the CMP time. I'm going to overfarm. In comes Earliest. Now I'm going to overfarm, and they make the perfect catch. I tried to pause the turn, but unfortunately I just didn't see the Pokemon coming in. I come into this, I make a mistake here. Whenever you're playing against a Pokemon that can possibly debuff you, you always throw first. Always throw your move first. Because as you can see, I'm debuffed now. My Body Slams are doing less than they would have done before, so this is not ideal. We're going to go straight for this next move before they get off another potential debuff. They of course avoid the CMP, and yeah, you're going to see here that this Diggersby actually is able to take out the Vigoroth, but because we've got them so low, they're basically in range for 1 poison jab. The opponent swaps out. It's still game over unfortunately for them. They made a great play, but Toxapex is just too good. Earliest coming in, we're going to take this out. Bang. This probably doesn't quite KO, but it puts them into a farm down range. Oh, it does KO of course from here, and yeah, good games. So yeah, it is absolutely vital that you shield the Stone Edge from Quagsire. That's basically what you can learn from that matchup. Once again, we have a Toxapex lead. Whenever I see this, again, I just sort of expect it to be my team in the back. I'll not put you guys through it here. We trade the Sludge Waves, and we're going to find out who wins CMP here. Who wins it? Do I take swap? Yeah, we do. We do win CMP. That's great. So we can look to get rid of this, and if they come into Trevenant, I'm actually going to swap out here. If they come Trevenant, swap out, I think no matter what they come into, you can just swap out, because Toxapex is so valuable against this team that swapping out is never a bad thing. The opponent goes for the catch, I overfarm predicting the catch, which is perfect, and we're going to start launching Body Slams. This is basically curtains here, because we've chipped the Trevenant a little bit, meaning that I can basically 2-shield farm down. The opponent no shields the Vigoroth here. I'm perfectly happy here. I'm no shielding. Just in case they get to 2 moves, because I'm using Shadow Claw, I'm going to come into Toxapex here, wait down my full switch clock, make sure that I can still swap out, and yeah, good games. We farm it the whole way down. So yeah, you guys should be able to kind of understand how to win the mirror now. If you win CMP, you basically swap out and keep your Toxapex healthy. If you lose CMP, you farm it down with Trevenant. In this next match here, the opponent outpaces us to the Shadow Balls, and they definitely hurt. They actually come into Vigoroth of all things, which is craziness. Now because I have my own Vigoroth, I'm going to chip it and dip it. Bang, we're going to come into our own here. Because they no-shielded the chip, I'm going to no-shield this. They can go for this Body Slam, bang. we'll outpace them here. I overfarm as much as possible. I get a little bit of lag. I thought I overfarmed too much, but it wasn't a CMP tie, thankfully. Now what I'm hoping here is I can either 4 or 6 and throw the rock slide. We can 6 and throw, meaning we do not take the third incinerate, but the Skeletor just got so much energy. They've got 5 incinerates worth of energy here, which is huge. If you guys have been watching my videos for a while, man, the video a few days ago of Skeledirge, like this thing goes crazy up energy. I know the opponent's not going to be able to Toxapex, so I shield the first move. I'm not going to go down both shields though. We'll take a Shadow Ball, it hurts a lot. I'm going to try to, the opponent tries to pause a turn, and then they come into Fair Form. So this is fine. This is basically game over. The opponent did not successfully catch the move. We've got a very positive matchup here. By the way guys, if you're Fair Form in this situation, you want to throw Power Whip. The only time that you throw Thunder against a grass type is if it's a grass poison. Because poison resists grass, grass resists grass, it's double resisted. However, if it's just grass, you go for the Power Whips. They're a little bit more energy efficient and they do the same damage. The opponent would have only got off 2 moves anyway, so it doesn't make a difference. We go straight for Shadow Ball, of course the opponent has to shield it. We 2 and 4 for good timing for absolutely no reason whatsoever. And yeah, good games well played. Skeletor is just such a good Pokemon. However, my whole team can basically hit it. I knew this was going to be a disarming voice because why would it not be? But of course I'm not going to risk it. The opponent could have full sent the Shadow Ball, thinking I might want to try to call it for no reason. We come straight into our Vigoroth here. Now the opponent goes for Aqua Tail. I expect opponents to chip and dip, right? That's what good players do. They go for the chip and they come into Toxapex. I was kind of annoyed at myself now. Like damn, I shielded an Aqua Tail and now there's a Toxapex on my screen. In fairness, like it kind of makes sense. I go straight for the next move. And I'm thinking like, do I 2 shield for swap here? Is it really worth it? Because the opponent did not come into their own Vigoroth, this is a really rough spot for me. I'm just kind of hoping Trev can sweep. Kind of tricky. I'm going to go for Body Slam. The opponent's going to farm me down. I was tempted to come in for Shadow Claws, but I decided to come in for the Poison Jab down. The opponent, however, banks a move, swaps into Quagsire, and suddenly things are looking winnable now. This is going to be a Stone Edge. I hate going down 2 shields at any point in any match, but I decide like if they land that, it's game over for me basically. I need to keep this healthy. We farm up all the way here to CMP tie, bang, we take it out. And we'll see what the opponent wants to do. Now, we can easily live a Sludge Wave. Not easily, it hurts, of course. But we can definitely live it. And if it's a Vigoroth in the back, we're in a very good spot here. Yep, we farm it down. And it is a Vigoroth in the back. So the opponent did not bring in their own Vigoroth because I played it the way I played it. The opponent then plays to a CMP tie that they do not win, meaning that I can get off the move, get a shield off the opponent. I've got an energy lead with my Toxapex. So I'm not going to mess around. I'm going to go straight for the move. I 1 and throw, which might make the opponent think I'm going for the small move, right? Because I threw so quickly. And at this point, it's curtains, guys. You've seen that in the 2-0s, we beat a Vigoroth earlier. We can just farm this thing the whole way down. I think if the opponent had have just held alignment, it would have been much more difficult for me to win that match. However, of course, Trevenant does have a very decent matchup into the other thing as well. And we do get a massive 5-0 here to finish off. Guys, my starting elo for the season here is 23-38. This team is absolutely busted. Check it out, man. We've got this stupid wig, which looks kind of ridiculous, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Do me a favor, if you enjoyed this, if you learned something, if you're going to try out this team, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, it's absolutely free. I'm going to be trying out a bunch of different teams this week, so feel free to stay tuned, drop a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, all that fun stuff. I'm going to try to... Look at this wig, bro, it looks absolutely ridiculous. By the way, guys, the seasonal emote, and the outfit kind of looks a bit weird. Actually, the outfit is cool, but the emote and the wig kind of looks funny. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you all enjoyed the video. I put my Bulbasaur hoodie back on. Thank you very much for watching. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you all tomorrow for most likely a stream and a new video.